Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicerius. Let's get this video started. So, we need another Lance video today. By the way, sorry about the lack of videos over the past few days, even though I said things were going to be going back more back to normal. My mouse messed up. My mouse kind of stopped working correctly, but I've got my new mouse in now. So things are going to be back to normal. But, let's get into today's topic. So I want to talk about what is probably my favorite Lance combos these days. And I wanted to talk about it in a specific context, but before we get into that, let's talk about it. So first things first, I'm talking about leaping thrust into wide sweep, and then repeat that, right? It's a two sharpness combo, so leaping thrust only consumes one hit of sharpness, and obviously charge sweep also uses one hit of sharpness. So it's 2 hits of sharpness. If you're using Guys McGorm, that's 40 times you can do this combo, and it's really strong, right? Leaping thrust isn't quite as strong as a charge sweep, but it's pretty close, right? It's pretty close. So it's a pretty good combo overall. There's a lot of damage, it's fairly fast, and like I said, it only takes 2 sharpness. But I wanted to talk about it in the context of using shield tackle, because obviously if you're using guard dash, you can just use this whenever you want, right? Because you're playing guard dash, so you have very easy access to leaping thrust. But if you're playing shield tackle, you obviously don't have quite as easy access to leaping thrust, right? And the one way you do have access to it is out of power guard, right? Out of power guard. You might be thinking, well, I never use power guard, and there's not really many good times to use power guard, so how would I ever actually use leaping thrust when using shield tackle? And the answer is shield tackle. The answer is shield tackle itself, right? Because shield tackle can go very quickly into counter thrust, which you can almost immediately cancel into power guard. But that said, this is not incredibly fast, right? That's not incredibly fast. It's pretty slow. So when would you actually use this? Well, let's say you're shield attacking through a monster's attacks, and then you're not in position to get a follow-up, right? Basically, if you're, like, let's say I shield tackle through his attack, I'm like, oh. Normally I might consider, like shield tackling again to reposition. Instead, I can do a leaping thrust, right? And get the big hit from leaping thrust. And then I can do my normal wide sweep, and that's basically when I use this, right? And I gotta say, because since you can go in any direction you want with a sleeping thrust, and I do mean literally any direction you want, it's a very useful repositioning tool, and it's also good damage. It's going to do more damage than just simply doing another shield tackle would, so it's pretty good for that, especially since you can't immediately do another shield tackle, right? You have to wait just a little bit, but you can pretty much instantly go into a power guard and do a leaping thrust, right? So I've been mixing this into my regular shield tackle gameplay. It's really fun. It's honestly, especially like when if a monster's like running at me and I have to like shield tackle through their attack, a lot of times I can catch their tail with the leaping thrust afterwards or something like that. Honestly, I at first I got really excited about this. When I realized I could do it, I stopped, I thought about it, like, okay, maybe it's not actually that good. And then I actually started trying to implement it into my gameplay, and I ended up realizing this is actually pretty useful on shield tackle. There are more instances where you wouldn't want to use this than you might expect. And obviously, it's not like you can't just do another shield tackle instead, right? Obviously, you can just do another shield tackle. But I just found this has been way more useful than I ever expected it to be. And it's definitely sort of trimmed down on my hunt times a little bit, because, it is almost a charge sweep in terms of damage output, right? It's almost a charge sweep. And it's just ended up becoming one of my favorite combos to use. I use it quite a bit now. Pretty much any time where I see a situation where I'm just not quite in position after my shield tackle to get what I want, instead of doing another shield tackle, I will just obviously one thing you have to keep in mind here, you have to be careful with your timing. If you try to cancel into power guard just a little bit too early, you'll end up dodging like that. So it does take some getting used to, but it's not that difficult. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite things to use on shield tackle these days. And it's gonna wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope like me, maybe if you weren't even aware this was even a thing before, because honestly I'd kind of forgotten you could even do leaping thrust out of power guard. Maybe this will refresh your memory, as it were. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. Till then, take it easy, everybody.